From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is the Weather Classroom.
We don't usually get a lot of this here in the Tennessee Valley. You kind of have to go to the Rocky Mountains and the Great Smoky Mountains, but every now and then you get a little bit of this on a micro scale, kind of in just your area. But again, this is more prevalent out towards the west, and that's what we call downsloping winds, and it's just kind of what it says in the name. It's winds that are coming down the downslope. But what does it actually entail? Well, first you got the setup here. So strong upper level winds, they start flowing over the mountains. And again, picture yourself out here in the west. That mountain peak is about 12 to 13,000 feet up in the atmosphere, and that's in that part of that jet stream. So you get these strong winds that keep going over the mountain. Well, at some point you'll start to get winds that interact with the mountain, and they start to flow further down into the valley. So on the top of the mountain, you got cool air up there, and the winds near the top end up being flowing downwards. And you got clouds up there, and all of a sudden you have these winds that start coming down that backside of the mountain. Well, those winds are going to start to be cool once it gets to the top of the mountain. But what happens is when air gets rushed down to the surface, it actually starts to warm up. So that's why you'll have some of these winds where it might be 32 degrees up here at the top of the mountain. That wind flows down, and all of a sudden it's down into up into the 60s down here in the valley. And those winds not necessarily are just warm, but they're also dry. So that air rushes down the mountain, it warms, and it starts to dry out. That is one of the reasons why you have deserts that form in between mountain ranges. So you got winds that are coming up and over one. Well, the winds come down into the valley. Well, they're dry. And there you go, you have your desert environment down there. So those are downsloping winds. Again, most of these actually, they can happen anywhere. They can happen where the mountain is 2,000 feet. They can happen if the mountain is, 15,000 feet. But the majority of this type of phenomena actually happens when the mountains are pretty high, especially out there in the west in the Rockies.